Why am I frozen? Give me a minute here. All right. I think now. I wonder if another connection will work. Hang out a sec. So I need to get this going or to have this actually work. All right, let's see what's happening now. Sounds a little better. All right. Shit, for the most part. And basically, I guess to start this off, I want to say a couple things. First off, man, I mean, I know a lot of people don't like this channel. Um, Personally, I don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter to me. So, leave your prejudices out of this because this ain't about him necessarily. This is more about Vegas. Anything. And yeah, so leave your fucking bullshit out. I mean, I'm going to talk a little bit of shit about somebody this is going to involve because somebody spread a little bit of fucking stupid information about something they're not an expert on, or they claim they were at one point in one of these videos. But this person here, and don't let it go to your head, big guy, because I know you've done dirt. We all have. I know the dirt you've done. Believe me, people talk. Um, Fucked up. But for you to come back and start talking about Vegas, after all the bullshit, both sides throwing your ass under the bus, man, take some balls, man. And I'm proud of you for doing that. I'm actually happy you did it. So no joke, no bullshit. Give you a shout out or give you some props on that, man. And but I want to talk about a little bit about, and of course, again, this is for very few people to watch. You can watch it if you want. I don't give a shit, but everything I do, I pretty much do public. But this is for 10, really, because he put a couple videos out, and he actually put a video out just to address me. Took the time to do that. Um, so since he showed me that respect, I figure, I got to show him respect back, and I gotta deal with that. So, you know, that's why I'm doing this right now. Take the time out of my day. I haven't done Vegas in a while. I haven't really, had a lot of bullshit going on that I didn't feel like dealing with. So, or I didn't feel like dealing with this. So, with that, here we go. Now I'm gonna have to go back in an older video where this all kind of generated and started. And yeah, I'm gonna tear it down a little bit, but made some points, man. Made some fucking points. That yeah, got it points. And bro, you can copyright me if you want. I'm not making money off this. I don't care. You can fucking strike my channel. I don't give a shit. This is for you though. I'm not making this. You want shit.
This is a video about the glass and what really happened that night of 1 October 2017 when this guy, or it could have been two.
Man, don't like that. Just a thing, man. you're kind of waffling. But let me fix this. All right, here we go.
Guys firing, but they never overlapped the fire. We'll talk about that. They never shot at the same time if it was two people. But I'm not sure if it was because I haven't found any evidence. But let me show you something right here. This is what I consider one of the most famous pictures taken from a helicopter of the crime scene. And so many people look at this and they don't even understand what this picture means. What we found out later is this window here, which was the primary window where most of the weapons were fired. This whole left side.
But this is where we're going to get into this.
The whole left side right here was not even broke out when he was firing out the window. That is what was broken out, obviously, by the police at 12:30 a.m. No bullshit. At 12:30 a.m. How do I know that? Because there's a famous body camera over on LVSA, Las Vegas Shooting Archive, that shows at 12:30, approximately 12:30 a.m., glass is falling from the Mandalay Bay. People were assuming that.
Now, no joke here. I agree with you. Yeah, there was glass falling all fucking night. As that curtain was blowing in and out of that window, you're gonna have shards of that stuff coming down. So yeah, you got a point there.
That the whole window was broken out at 12:30 to make it look like that's where the shooting was from.
So believed that the objective there was to break out the entire window. He didn't need to break out the entirety of that window for what he was doing. So I believe honestly that he broke this out in different sections, 2 different times. And I because the hammer is in that room. And I'm kind of hearing my echo. That's why I'm kind of fucked up here.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. In reality, on the right side.
Now there I'm going to disagree with. That's not the entirety of what he broke out, I believe. And I think the way we see even later, the way it's all broken out, that's not really feasible with the angle of the glass there.
Let me get my pointer under control. This right side right here was what he fired from.
Oh, and put your in front of it. All right, let me find somewhere.
He fired from this area right here. Now,
I've always been of the assumption that this guy broke out a little bit of glass so that he had less of a footprint and to make it harder to see. Now, I don't know if I could see my pointer on this thing. No, I really can't. But actually, yeah, I can. My pointer is showing up. So to the left, this comes through audio wise because my what I'm listening to this on is lagging pretty bad. Anyway, so you're saying that this was the only section he broke out, and all this was I don't know, tertiary or whatever. I don't know the exact wording for it. I disagree with that. That might have been the first thing he broke out. Might have been the second thing he broke out. possibly the first. And they started hitting this over here later as the crowd started dispersing. He needed more of a field of fire, line of sight issue. And the only reason I say that is because the hammer is in this room. But at some point, the hammer went to this room, broke out this entire window, and the hammer ended up back in this room. So I'm assuming that at some point, this guy took the hammer, busted out. You might be right. I mean, that's well, I don't want to say this guy was fucking intelligent, but that would be a smart maneuver, to break out just a little piece there. It would hide a lot of the muzzle flash and all that sort of bullshit. That would be the easier firing position, as the curtains, I believe, bunch up right here. I believe the curtains on this side close this way. I believe the curtains on this side close this way, and they're automatic, so they're not manual. So it would have been slightly easy for him to drape this curtain over that chair, shoot out that little slot right there. Wouldn't have to aim too much, because if he did it right, any bullet that goes out that window would hit the audience, hit the crowd. It's possible he was shooting holes into all this stuff, and that ended up with some of the breakage over here, but I don't know. Let's move on. That's what the majority of this is. He's gonna go into some other stuff, but that was the majority of what I wanted to talk about. And there's another video involved in this.
Left side, this entire left side was broken out by the LVMPD.
Now, I'm going to totally disagree with you on that, bro. That didn't happen. That totally didn't happen. And that's because when we look at it's possible that did happen, but I greatly doubt it. We see the photo of the cops down below. The photo I've shown 100 times to prove that this window was actually broken that night. The entire bottom half of this window looks broken out, So it looks like at some point, the bottom half of this window was broken. It looks like this stuff up here may have resulted possibly later. And then some of the stuff on the side here, as we'll see in the other video he sent over.
How do I know that? Before you put the thumb down on the video, how do I know that? I know it because at 11 o'clock at night.
By the way, bro, thumbs down don't matter anymore. I mean, unless they're looking at your social blade, which if people are that fucking desperate and they're that fucked up, who cares? You're in their head, dude. You won. Thumbs down don't matter.
Night, approximately 11 o'clock at night, there was a FLIR camera, 11:20, 11:30.
All right, well, that's something I need to know, man. 11:20, 11:30. Of course, the images he's going to share later have the timestamp code off, but I'm gonna accept that he's legit on that.
Between 11 and 11:30 at night, there was a helicopter went by with a FLIR, FLIR camera, and it showed the exact opening of that window. That's why.
And as we're going to see, it's very grainy and it's very hard to make out a lot of that.
Being a right-handed shooter, he could not shoot the fuel tanks from this window. That's why he had AR-10s at the window. He wanted to shoot with a larger .308 round. He wanted to shoot the fuel tanks from this window, but guess what? He didn't make a big enough opening, so he had to.
That's speculation, and if I can remember, I'll explain. Well, I'll explain it right now. Let me get to a point where his hand's out of the way.
Shoot over here at the fuel tanks at 10:08 and 10:09.
Now, this is something that kind of came to me as I was looking at this. In fact, let me see if I can find the FIT report here. And I'll find the actual picture to explain this. If I can do it. Let's see, where is it? All right, here we go. I think this is it. No. Wasn't completely prepared for this. I just wanted to just get this out there. Like I said, you went to the trouble to send me a video about what you're talking about. Now, I could be wrong, but let's put this up on stream. Let's take a break from his video. Share screen. Let's see, it's going to be this one, I believe. All right. So the inside. Now, what he's claiming is that this was the only piece broken. I don't believe that. And I don't believe that the cops broke out this big ass section right here just for safety purposes or whatever. I just don't believe that. And I think a lot of it is because if you look, let me get this. All right. Let's do this. I don't have a fancy pointer and I'm not on a television screen. Now, in order to hit the tanks from here, yeah, he would have had to bust this out. He probably would have had to been right here. Actually, you know what? I was wrong about those curtains. Those curtains are wound up over here. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I was wrong about that. Oh well. That's what I get for assuming. But yeah, I don't believe he broke this out by himself and then left all this intact. I believe this was all intact later. Well, I believe he broke this out after he broke this out. So this right here, field of fire's tough. He would have been standing, right about, at the edge of the curtain there, firing down at that. I believe the curtains were closed that night. Well, yeah, they would have been, right? Because when they broke into the room, the curtains were blowing inward towards the chair here. So the curtains were actually closed. This is a zip tie, so police zip tie, most likely handcuffs, somebody's handcuffs. Now to hit the tank, how would you? Let's see. I don't believe that's fuel tank. That's not the fuel tank. But to hit the tank, he's going to have to be way over here in the corner. I don't think this guy wanted to be stepping on his shells, stepping on his glass. So I have a feeling that's probably the reason he went and busted out the window in the other room. Why he didn't shoot down the crowd from the other room, I don't fucking know. Anyway, but I believe the guy was probably standing right about where the cameraman was standing, maybe a little to the left, up against this pillar here, and firing down into here. All right. Now you got to remember also that these pictures don't really do it justice. This open field right here is a lot closer. It looks a lot bigger when you're actually there. So I believe that's what was going on. I believe he broke this out, but see the way that this glass is angled right here, I think there were some strikes over here at some point. There's a hammer. Anyway, so I don't believe that the cops broke out that the big portion of that window. I believe Paddock did. And the reason I believe that, let's see. We can see this here. I'm going through this in real time. So this is so there's the chair. Get an idea of the break in the window. And that's, of course, before they tied the drapes up. So the chair is right about at the edge of the framing of the window there, of the broken window. The edge of the chair lines up with it, right? You have a lot of shells. You have a lot of glass down here. You got a lot of shells over here. I guess. Yeah, I guess it's possible. You know, that this guy did break out a little section. I guess in a way it makes a little bit of sense. I don't believe it at all. We do have a lot of glass over here and stuff like that. So, you know, try to shatter the glass outward if you're talking about the police doing this. You know, what, they come in here with the hammer. I don't believe that. I think the reason that you had glass falling later in the day was because this fucking curtain was not open, and it was blowing out, obviously, which we'll see in his other video. I think that's what was pushing the glass out. So let's go to back to his video. Let's see, we got to go to what's this guy? All right, let's listen some more. But there is a fucking pillar there, right? So I don't know the angle from that room to the fuel tanks, right? So with that pillar there, even though that pillar is recessed a bit, would he have enough room to actually shoot at those tanks? And did he not want to stand in his debris, you know, his shell casings and glass and all that sort of bullshit? I believe that's why he came over here. Now we see the curtain blowing out here. We see that over here also, but at this point, it looks like they probably tied the curtain up when they took that photo.
Pause.
Infamous line, man. If you ever have any famous
Okay,
words,
back
man,
over here.
Pause.
I just talked about that window right over here. Half of the glass that you're seeing, actually the left half.
I love using the garbage grabber for your pointer. I mean, I never realized that's what it was until you just opened and closed it.
Where the pointer is, wasn't even broke out. Only the right half over here was broke out.
And again, I disagree with you. There's, picking up trash.
That's what he fired from for the first 4 volleys. Unfortunately.
Okay, so you just altered that first 4 volleys. Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, folks. Those were the most deadly volleys. 100 round, 95, 98, something like that. Rounds of ammunition fired. I do believe that that's when the majority of the people died.
Nothing wrong with that. I agree with that.
All right, let's go over here to the smaller room that he had. This was an adjoining room. This room right here is 1,750 square feet.
Oh,
This thing's bigger than many houses. It's bigger than most condominiums. 1,750 square.
All right, so I've been in one of these rooms, not this particular one, but one with the same layout, basically. They're not as big as you think. They're not that big. You see Paddock, his head in the final report. Let's see if we can get some context here. Okay, do we have? I don't know if we have a picture of his entire. Yeah, we do. For the most part, it's not his entire body. I'm not gonna look for leaked photos and all that bullshit. But let me go to this, because these rooms are a lot smaller. They seem a lot smaller in person than they do on this. I mean, you could talk about total square footage, but this thing's a corner. You know, it's not it's not massive. Now, there's homeboy dead. And I say that with the least amount of respect possible. All right, shoes against this deal right here. That's right up against. That's about equal with these stanchions here. Stanchions are only a couple feet. His head gets pretty close to the bar. It's almost lined up with the bar. So that's a big portion of that room, right? And he's what, 6'2" or something like that. So from the bar to the window is what, maybe 8 feet, 10 feet. You know, you could jump that in a couple of strides, man. That's not that tough. And that's what I've been trying to explain to people about some of the door lock stuff. Is these rooms are not that large. Now, you have the bar here. You have a hallway back behind the bar, and then you got the room over here. That right there, that's hard to tell how large that little space is. I believe there's a report out there that actually does go into that, but I don't think it actually tells exactly how big it is. That report that I saw was not done all that well. But, you know, the room is not that large. I mean, this is probably what, maybe 15 feet or something like that. It's not that large. I mean, this dude's only 6 foot. He takes up the entire section from, pretty close to the window, all the way to the bar top. So it's not as big as it sounds. I disagree with that completely. I don't even know where he's going with that. I don't remember, but I just wanted to touch on that just to get some perspective here. Okay, let's show audio. Let's go back to this.
There's a door right in there.
Yep, just saw it.
Out of this pointer, there's a door, the connecting door. If you wanted to, I mean, if you're that much of a big baller, like Paddock was,
big baller.
If you're that much of a big baller, you can rent the little room, which has 2 windows, and you can rent this room.
He didn't rent them.
To get an extra bedroom. And that's what he did.
No, that's not what he did. He didn't rent them.
Why would he?
Semantics, but
Why would he break out another window over here? And you see the angle right here, right? You see the angle. Well, he wanted to shoot the fuel tanks, and I've already explained why he wanted to shoot the fuel tanks, and I stand by that.
I disagree with that.
It doesn't mean that he was successful. Of course, it wasn't. He was not successful. He did not blow up the fuel tanks over at the McCarran Airport. However,
yeah, I think that's a foolish prospect to say he's trying to shoot at a fucking vent on top of the fuel tanks. I mean, I guess it's possible, but I don't know. He could have very easily not have known that he wasn't going to penetrate those motherfuckers. But, who knows? We don't know.
He thought he could.
And I think, like I said, there's a pillar right here, so that I don't know the angle exactly to the fuel tanks, whether he can actually hit it from this little area right here. Let's see. Okay, let's keep on.
That was part of his plan. And whoever was with him, if 5 ifs, if anyone was with him, counting the 6th if that I said, if somebody was with him. Now that makes number 7. But I want you to know something before I talk about this window over here. Indications tell me he was a right-handed man, except for one weapon.
All right, well, let me finish him. Let him finish him.
All the weapons were right-handed weapons. Now, if you're a right-handed,
Yeah, all of the weapons were right-handed, and I understand, a certain person was propped up as a gun expert, but putting a dust cover on a weapon does not make it left-handed. It helps people with they want to shoot left-handed, but no, that does not make it left-handed.
man, and you only have half of that window, because I just explained to you that this left half of the window was not the way it looks the night that he shot out the window. That's the way it looked the next morning when this helicopter flew by and the Las Vegas Police Department had knocked out the loose glass. So, in order for him to take a shot at the fuel tanks, he needed to come over here.
Now, see, that's speculation, but I kind of agree with them. And the only reason I agree with them is because of the stanchion.
And he did. Either he did or someone else did. If somebody else was involved. I'm going to explain why I say if, which still kind of bothers me. But at this point, all the
If it bothers you to say it, then stop saying it.
evidence does point to one man and one man alone. But there is an if. This window here, it looks like it's like completely blown out and they've knocked everything out. They have. The same thing.
I think he knocked that out. And I think he knocked that out because he didn't know where, exactly his line of sight. He was in a hurry at that point. Shit was happening. It was going down. It was go time. And he was sitting on the bed. So sitting on the bed, I'm guessing he would have been shooting from about a 4-foot position fairly close to this window. Is what I'm guessing. That's what I seem to think.
That happened over here.
And I don't believe he was laying on the fucking bed, dude. 6-foot guy fucking laying with a couple foot of gun sticking out, laying on a fucking bed. You're crazy. He would have pushed them together if that was the case.
Here, the LVMPD knocking out the glass to protect the people that were investigating down on the lower level valet, because there was a lot of debris that fell down.
I don't agree with that either, man. I don't think they were the ones breaking that shit out. I don't think they broke any of it out. I think the curtains blowing in and out of that motherfucker, like we see in the other room, is what broke it all out.
Downward onto the roof of a valet. So
yeah, not necessarily the roof. I mean, if you've been there, it's not necessarily on the roof of the valet. There is a roof, I believe, under that, but it's a very short one. My memory of, or my understanding, because I have stood under that window, is there's a lot of plants down there. There's a big little area there with a bunch of plants where you can't really easily walk up to the building. I can't remember if there's a short wall there or not. I don't remember. But yeah, the majority of that would have. There is a little bit of an awning, I believe, but it's not actually the roof of the valet. This one, I think, has a roof underneath it. The 135, I believe, just has a little piece of an awning there. It might even be a floor. There might even be something up there. I don't know.
If you were to jump out a window.
Well, I'm not necessarily talking to him. I was making him a video because he made a video for me. So,
Window right here. Some of you need to jump out a window right here and just jump out the window and go kill yourself. And I'm not saying do that, but
I'm not saying
some
do
people
it.
probably need to do it. Just jump out the window. Boom. You're going to hit a roof down there.
Yeah, on that side you will.
You're going to hit a roof. They seriously were looking for evidence on that roof.
Well, and
there's multiple reasons why they were looking for evidence on that roof, because there's an escape.
Depends on how much air you
There's
get.
doors down there that lead to an access where you can
pull a
go
Jordan,
from the
you'll,
roof
land
all
on
the way
street.
to the back parking garage. So yeah, they were contemplating if a second guy came out of this shit show, did the second guy go down to the lower level and head across the valet and head to the parking lot and just hop down a ladder.
All right, but how'd the second guy get out? Like, are you saying Campos wasn't up there? Or are you saying Campos saw somebody? Because you have a bracket on a door. Since the bracket's on the inside, the person didn't go down the stairway, put the bracket up on his way out. So that person must have got away down that hallway.
No shit. No shit. I've investigated it that far.
Almost
did
like
that
he's responding to me.
over 2.5 years ago. That was a
That was good
very
timing.
viable option if a second shooter was available and got away and wanted to get away without going out the front door of the hotel. No shit. No shit.
No
it's
shit.
pretty damn easy to do that.
No shit.
In fact, there's that was the subject of a couple of other videos, not by myself, but by other people. Let's pause again.
Pause. Famous words. Oh, hey, bro. You don't have to tell us.
I really think,
you don't have to tell us that.
and it's always kind of bothered me, being a guy that was one of only two guys that actually had any experience with high-rise glass in the whole 300 person community of Las Vegas.
According to
shooting
somebody who watches my videos,
of
there's three.
Stephen Craig Paddock, myself, and Mark Ollinger. I think being only one of two. And
Unless
I
Ollinger
asked and asked
changed
and
his
asked
name,
for other glass
but
guys to get
yeah, I
involved.
got a
and
guy that
there was none.
comes in here once in a while and talks about the glass.
Mark understands what he's looking at here. So do I. We know what it takes to break out a 1/4 inch heat strengthened on the outside. We know what it takes to
Small
break out
sledgehammer.
the 1/4 inch interior tempered side
Yeah,
of the
small
glass.
sledgehammer.
We understand
I understand it.
the timeline. We understand the sequence of the weapons. That took quite a while, folks, to understand the sequence of the weapons. We did not know that until the final report,
Well, I think LVSA.
which was 2019, August of 2019.
Actually, I
that
think
came
the preliminary report had that.
out. Once we really
But I think,
understood that, then it's a matter
Aces-
of just piecing
Aces
together the footsteps.
Did a pretty good job with that.
There still is a gray area of whether Stephen Craig Paddock actually on this side right here, he shot those fuel tanks. I'll put the probability that he did at 75%.
I love the garbage picker upper, man. It's great.
I think there's a 75%, and I'm not kidding you. I mean, I've thought about it. I wrote it down. I took a piece of paper. I wrote it down, all the positives, all the
Oh,
negatives.
Sean Graham did one too?
All the negatives.
Okay, I didn't realize
And then
that.
I added them up, and I came up with about 72%.
I got to find his channel
Rounded off a little higher to 75% chance that Paddock was by himself.
Yeah, the percentages I don't care
But
about.
let me tell you something.
That's your speculation.
The reason I'm making this video is there's still 25% probability that Paddock was not by himself shooting these goddamn fuel tanks.
All right, well, the thing with that is, again, where the fuck did that person go? So are we saying that Campos somehow saw somebody go down that hallway? Because it's the only way out. It's the only way out unless you jumped out that fucking window like you were saying, but that's stupid. Zip lines are not a thing. Yeah, that's ridiculous. So, the multiple shooter theory holds more weight when you're talking about a shooter being somewhere other than Mandalay Bay. Unless Campbell's full of shit and wasn't up there, or which kind of doubt, because then someone else might have seen the person, and the I don't think the FBI would lie about something like that when there's a possible witness out there that could blow the lid off of it. So I don't know. Was Campos up there this whole time, or was he not up there the whole time? If he was up there the whole time, how did this second shooter from this room get out of the building? I don't believe the police were involved. I don't believe there's any kind of bullshit with that. I don't think there's anybody honestly sitting in this room, hiding in this room when Levi went and ran in there, cleared the room. I don't believe that was the thing. I mean, it's always possible in this weird and wacky world, but I don't believe it.
There's still a 25% probability he wasn't. The only witness we have is
Jesus
Campos.
Jesus.
The only witness we have is Campos saying, well, he didn't even say it. I've studied his reports.
You mean
People
you read
went
them?
down the hallway, but he's not saying that, it was some kind of shooter or something. And although I do believe, especially the early, I definitely believe the early part of Campos's phone call, radio, and his cell phone. I believe all three of those, folks. It doesn't mean that you have to not believe everything about Stephen Campos. Did he make a phone call in the foyer? Oh, hell yeah. Did he make a radio call? Oh, hell yeah. Did he make a cell phone call? Obviously, there's a cell phone record. Yes. Did he see everything he wanted to see? No. Okay, I just listed 4 things.
What did he want to see?
That's 75% probability. 3 out of 4. So there you go. That's where I'm at with him.
You're crazy. That's all right. Still glad you're doing this, man. Someone's talking about Vegas. That's good. It's good.
Where do we go from this step?
But you did open my eyes on a couple things, man. So that's why I'm making this video.
Well, what we do is we educate people. There's people that are better computer and video makers than myself.
Man, nobody gives a fuck anymore.
From the first day that I ever made a video, I knew that. I knew it. I knew it from day one, and I asked for help. I asked for help right there on the pizzeria. People laughed at me.
Pizzeria.
And I kept asking for help. I kept asking for help. What do you know? What do you know? What do you know? What do you know? And I got doxxed. I got beat up. I got bullied. But what they don't know about me is I'm a fighter.
Well, as long as you don't go full Alan Dion here and say you punch a guy in the face once.
Not the kind of guy that's going to bully you. But I'm the kind of guy that's going to keep looking for my own answers through the most crazy diversity there is.
Diversity?
I want to give full thanks
to the
people that have supported this channel.
Fuck's that got to do with Vegas?
People that have understood that what I wanted to do was just what I just said.
All right, bro. You're done. I get it. All right. So today we had this. Oh, man. Fuck your music. What the fuck? I don't know where you got this video, man, if the music was already part of it or not. All right. So this is the deal. This is the window, and this is, I guess, the FLIR. Looks like somebody fucked with the contrast and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know if this is the original, if it's zoomed in. Not exactly sure, but it is what it is. All right, that's it. That's it. But you took the time to do this, man. So I appreciate it. I really do. I really appreciate it. So, first picture. Oh my God. Of course, no time. This was probably the timestamp, but no timestamp. It looks like that's a stanchion. So it looks like legit 135. Hard to tell really what's going on here. Because of all the light, what do you call it? The light pollution, as far as that stuff goes. That photo is really hard to make out, as far as some of that stuff goes. So I kind of am going to ignore that one. But we get to this here. And it's kind of the same thing. Looks pretty similar. But it's hard to say, right? Because we know there's a piece of glass down here at the bottom. We know that because later there's a piece of glass right there at the bottom. Looks like we have a little horn of glass right here, a little piece possibly right here. This right here, whether that's glass or not, I don't know. See, I understand what is being said here, So what you're trying to say is the little piece that you're saying was broken out. It's just along the edge here. And so you're trying to say that in this photo, that this is evidence that the only piece that's broken out is the light, is where the light's at. I don't agree with that at all, period. I'll tell you what I see, and it's, and I could be wrong. I'm not, whatever. This is a real blurry, fucked up photo. So the chair's right here. I don't know if you can see my pointer. Yeah, you kind of can. So the chair's right here. This would be the chair. And I believe there is actually a photo running around from a helicopter. I remember that photo because it actually looked like somebody was sitting in that chair. I don't know. I probably have that photo somewhere. I don't know whatever happened to that photo, but it actually did look like somebody was sitting in this chair. But I believe this is the chair. It's about the right height. It's about the right spot. The other edge of the chair would be up against the combing right here. So I believe this is the chair. And we can kind of see it. It looks like the glass is broken in front of the chair for the most part. Now, this little piece right here looks like that is possibly the curtain, right? So he probably would have had the curtain draped over the chair so he could shoot out, this little area here. So you might be right about that. But I believe all this is broken. There's a piece here. There's a piece down here at the bottom. But I believe all this is broken. I believe even this is possibly broken. But because of the, because this was broken later. But I believe because of the, the curtains right here. The curtains are blocking out the light. So there's no light escaping that. Why the light's escaping up here, I don't know. It's strange. Anyway, so then we go to the next photo. All right. So again, you see the curtains blowing out. They're stuck on the chair right there. I'm not sure when this photo was taken. You got a little piece down here. Looks like this stuff all kind of broke out and fell out at this point. There's a piece up here. It looked like it was still intact at some point in some of the photos. So I forget where I got that from. I think it was when I was playing with the contrast and zooming in on the photo from the ground of the window broken. But yeah, it looks like the chair's sitting right there. It's all bunched up on the chair and it's all blowing out. So this definitely would have thrown glass throughout the night down below. I don't believe the police had anything to do with that whatsoever. And what else do we have? All right, so we have this. So the curtain's probably wrapped up behind the stanchion here. Stanchion. Okay. There's a little piece of glass right here. That's in the crime scene photo. We got some glass over here. According to Ten's theory here, only this piece was broken by Paddock himself, and the rest was broken by the police. I believe that's ridiculous. I believe it's insane. I don't think the police are going to come up here and fucking break out a window. And if they would, they probably would have broken this whole son of a bitch out. I don't think that happened. But, you know, we go from this to this. And they look fairly similar. Yeah, they look fairly similar. Whoops. You got a little tiny sliver here. This is a very small sliver. I think some of this was intact that night, and I think that might have been some of the pieces that fell. Some of these pieces over here might have fallen. He probably was shooting out of, you know, the majority down here. He didn't need to break out the whole thing. The dude's like, dude's what, 6'1", and I believe this looks like it's maybe what, I don't know, 3.5 feet, 4 feet maybe. So, you know, even if you wanted to jump out this window, he'd fucking hit his head on the glass somewhere. You know, his head would probably sit up here, about here somewhere. So he's got a little bit of a safety net in case he slips or something like that. So I believe that's kind of what was going on there. What else we got? Oops, we got the interior picture. Yeah, of course, the interior picture. Again, Paddock's head probably would have been pretty high up here. So I believe he would have been probably shooting from the edge of the curtain right here, maybe. It's hard to say. He could have been, because he was hitting right here. That's a steep angle. That's a very steep angle. If he did break this out first. I was always of the opinion that this guy broke out about maybe the bottom foot, the entirety of that, the length of the window. You know, broke out all this crap at the bottom, and then stood next to the chair somewhere and was just firing through that hole. Actually, he would have had to step back, right? Because right about where we're at, if he wanted to hit the VIP, he'd be shooting right through this chair. He'd be shooting right through the back of that chair. So yeah, to the side a little bit, maybe back about 5 feet, 4 feet from the window, shooting out the bottom half of the window. And then as people started running, as you can see in the window, you know, if he's going to hit across the street over here, it's going to be higher up in the window, right? So, you know, what I believe is possible with what happened due to the hammer, and I've said this before, due to the hammer being in 135 and not 134, and at some point having to make the trip from 135 to 134. I believe what he did was he probably knocked out this bottom piece to start with. And that way he would have a smaller hole in the window. So there'd be less muzzle flash seen from the ground. You know, because if you're looking for a 2 foot, 1.5 foot hole in a fucking window, a wall of mirrors, it's going to be hard to see. It's going to be very hard to see until he breaks out this whole motherfucker, you know. But, you know, I think what is a possibility, and this is something I've argued with people over, what's possible is he came through, broke out the bottom, started shooting down at the crowd, doing his thing. And at some point, he went to go shoot at the fuel tanks. for whatever that's worth. I'm not going to argue the shooting at vents and shit like that because I who knows. I don't really buy it, to be honest with you. I think that's kind of foolish trying to hit something that small from that distance. That's crazy. That guy's a fucking idiot if he thought he was going to hit that. Anyway, so I shot out this little section here, or you're shooting out the little section at the bottom. Then at some point goes into 134, breaks that shit out, comes back over here, and at this point everybody's fucking jamming. So everybody's across the street over here. They're running down these streets, Giles, Reno, all this bullshit, and he can no longer hit them because he only has a small window down here. At that point, he needs that hammer, and it would be interesting. And again, Aces did a really good video on that. I got to go back and look at it. But there was a big, I believe, break in time when he fired out a 134 and then when he started firing again out of 135. So it's possible that this douchebag came in here, shot out a bunch of shit out of the bottom of this window, went to 134, broke that whole son of a bitch out, left the mallet in 134, or the hammer, whatever you want to call it, sledgehammer. But he left that 134, came back to 135, realized he could no longer hit people because people are now scrambling all over the fucking place. And, down here within the venue itself, he's got a bunch of bodies down there, and most of the other people are taking cover. He can't see people. The only people he sees are running down the streets, running all over the fucking place. So at that point, goes back in, grabs the hammer, and I'd have to check the timing on the in between shots there, but it's possible he went back in there, grabbed the hammer, came back in here, shattered out a bunch more of this, got it up to about what it is here. Because realistically, if what I'm saying is accurate at all, this 1.5 feet down here would suffice for the venue. Another 1.5 feet would probably suffice for everything else. He wouldn't need all this crap at the top. Just wouldn't need it. But at this point, you're talking about panic. You're talking about this guy, shit's all going down. And this guy probably just went a little hammer happy with this fucking window. Didn't want to break the whole thing out again because there's no need to. And like I said, his head's probably sitting right about up here somewhere. So at least got a little bit of a safety net up there in case he slips on all this bullshit all over the ground. Anyways, so that's for you, big guy. You don't need to put music in the video. Not this kind of video. But yeah, see, like this bullshit. I'm sorry, man. That's just, you can't get any accuracy out of that. That's like the old days when Charles Walton was saying you can see a woman fucking hanging from some bullshit or some, it's just weird conspiracy shit. Yeah, I don't buy it. I mean, in this right here, it looks like that whole motherfucker's broken. It looks like it's all broken. But that's because of the way the light is. So, that looks a little bit contrast to, to this, like very contrast to this and this, because you can't even see this piece, you can't see this piece, a lot of that you can't see in this grainy ass shit. And this grainy ass shit isn't much better. A little bit, but not much. But yeah, I don't think the spot with the light is the only part of that window that's broken. I think a lot more of this is broken. It's just that you have a chair here blocking the light. You probably have the curtain here blocking the light. Up here, not too sure why you have light bleeding through right there or what it's reflecting off of. No idea. So anyways, that's gonna be it for that. I'm out of here with that. And when this gets published, I'll have to link this over to them. So again, thanks. Respect, man. I got respect for you, man. Just for keeping with it, man. after all the bullshit. So thanks for getting back on Vegas. And I'm out of here. Everybody stay safe out there.